What's up, guys? It's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. So the Clash of Knights has returned. It is back with the old school, and we have a couple of brand new costumes in the portal for some old favorites. So of course we're going to have a look at these guys today. We're going to check out Quenell and Wolfgang and my boy Ferant and see what they've done with the costumes. So let us get right into the portal and have a closer look at these amazing heroes. Well, we hope they're amazing. I can see Bernadette, the ugly old granny, is featured once again, and of course she is a superb hero, so you'll be doing well if you pull her. But we're not here to talk about the granny, we're here to talk about the new costumes. So let's start off with Quenell. Now, I do have Quenell. I have the original version of her, and I must say that I do still use her quite a lot. She is absolute beast mode when you get her going because of that increase on her special skill. So I'm hoping that they have stayed true to form with this new costume. So if we just take a closer look at her, so she is, of course, a nature hero. She is of the monk class now with this costume. So that's going to give her the chance to withstand. Withstand is a decent bonus for her because it means that she can resist status ailments, and status ailments are very prevalent in the game at the moment. If you do go for the master talent, she also cleanses the newest status ailment from the characters. So it's a really good talent class to work with. She was getting the bypass. I'm not sure which is better, to be honest, because she does deal a boatload of damage. So you kind of want that percentage chance to bypass. So we will see. Now they have amended the family bonus. So for the Wolf family, the heroes now get a bonus from a single hero upwards, where it's anywhere from a 20% to 50% chance to make a cast buff undispellable. And they all cast buffs. So that just means that you can take in a single hero and you have a 1 in 5 chance that whatever buff you cast is going to become undispellable. So I do like that. In terms of costume bonus, so we can see a massive increase in stats. 48% on the attack, defense, and the health, and 5% on the mana bonus. So we're going to be seeing pretty high stats. You can see there with the max power on, it's humongous. I know somebody else said, have you seen the stats? I have seen them now. They are huge. So without the max power, we're looking at 1148 team power, which is huge. So massive attack stat of nearly 1200, 1121 on the defense, well over 2000 on HP. So that is just, yeah. I mean, really, really good stats. That's pretty much all we can say. The passive. So this is a brand new passive for these heroes. Increased status effect duration. There's a chance to increase the duration of cast status effects. So 1 turn, 75% chance. 2 turns, 25% chance. So that can be good and it can be bad, but I think we'll get to that in just a moment. So for some heroes, it's going to be incredible. For some heroes, it's not going to be that great. So in terms of what she's doing, so her special skill, the old version here, 320% damage to the target and nearby enemies running at fast speed. Then the caster gets an additional 40% power for the next special skill they cast. The additional power increases by 40% each turn, up to a maximum of 200% in total. And now we've got this bit where the caster regenerates 600 HP over 3 turns. Now, just to put this argument to bed, I need to go into my roster real quick because somebody was saying it wasn't applying with her, and I believe that mine wasn't applying either. But now you can see it does. So the caster does regenerate 600 HP over 3 turns. So on top of now being an attacker, she is a technical healer, but it's only a single target heal. So just for herself, but that's still very, very beneficial. It's 200 HP per turn. We will take it. So that does apply now. And then the damage is the same. And the power increase is obviously exactly as what it was. Now, this passive, that's where I say this might or might not be useful because it says duration of cast status effect is increased by a turn or 2 turns. But that's, is that going to increase her damage? Because you kind of want the damage to ramp up to the maximum, as quickly as possible. But now because it lasts for longer, will that then increase the damage? So I don't think that that is really going to work very well for Quenell. I feel like she's just going to get up to the max damage and that is it, because that buff stays active regardless of how long it lasts for. So I don't think that passive is really going to affect her if the costume is the same as the original. So let's have a closer look. So she is still running at fast speed. And now she deals 360% damage to the target and nearby. So there's an increase 40% in the damage. And obviously that massive stat increase will be helpful as well. Then the caster gets an additional 30% power for the next special skill. And the additional power increases by 30% each turn. Now it's up to a maximum of 150% in total. So you kind of have that increased damage, but then decrease on the additional damage. So it's kind of splitting straws between the two of them, because the other one can get up to 200% damage in total. So you might get a lower hit initially, but you can ramp it up to 200%. And that 40%, I mean, it takes 5 turns to get there. But then with this one, it takes 5 turns and then you're getting up to a maximum of 150% extra damage. I guess it's very, very much the same. I really wouldn't be able to pick between the two just based on that. So yeah, if you want a higher upfront hit, then the costume's going to be great. If you don't really care and you want higher damage, maybe for longer battles like stages, map stages and things like that, you would want to go with the original version. But yeah, aside from that, I do think there's probably a better version for like wars and raids because of the withstand as well. You can just resist those status ailments as well. Let's have a look at Ether Talent. So she gets the special boost. So this one, at the start of each turn, her special skill will deal an additional 30% damage for 6 turns. So that is huge. And she used to get the attack up. So again, it's really good. And the thing is, the attack up just gives her an increased attack stat. And her attack stat in the original version, actually, with the limit breaks and emblems, is higher. So I'd be hard pressed to choose between the two, to be honest. Still a great hero, really nice fast speed damage dealer, and just that damage ramps up and up and up. So yeah, you can't go wrong with Quenell. She's still great, and now she's more relevant in terms of the stats. Unfortunately, no like innovation in terms of what they're actually doing with the special skill, but it's still a good special skill, so we'll give her that. Now let's move on to my man Wolfgang. He has now got a treasure chest from somewhere. He used to be holding his helmet, so he's obviously like, he's upgraded. He's got the golden outfit and everything else. So let's see if he's got the special to go with it. So he is of the Paladin class. So it's a nice defensive class. He was a fighter. I'll probably give the edge to the fighter class just because he gets that revive. Obviously, they get the same family bonus, so we won't go over that. Same costume bonus, so we won't go over that. And in terms of the Ether Talent, he was attack up, and he's now damage reduction. This is tricky because I do like the damage reduction a lot. It just means that at the start of battle, all damage received by him is reduced by 10%. So it makes him pretty tanky, nice and survivable. I do kind of like the Ether Talent. I'd probably give that maybe the slight edge over the attack up. In terms of stats, going to be looking at very similar stats for him, although he's a bit more defensive. So 1133 attack, 1166 defense, and 2143 on the health. So really, really similar, but more defensive for Wolfgang. In terms of the special, so his special was called Commander's Gauntlet. At average speed, he dealt 250% damage to all enemies, reduced all received damage by 50% for 4 turns, so he gets that damage reduction from his special skill, and all allies regenerate 720 boosted health over 4 turns. Boosted health can exceed max HP. So this is a bit weird because they have changed this. It used to be like a massive health boost after the turn count had ended, but now the health boost goes for the whole time. So that's why that damage reduction was so good, because it gave you enough time to get to that massive health boost. Now though, you don't really need that damage reduction. All he's doing is making himself a little bit more survivable. So I'm not sure that I like that, to be honest. The new special is Gold Gauntlet. So now it's 300% damage to all enemies, which with those stats at average speed is going to be good. He now reduces all received damage by 45% for 4 turns. And again, exactly the same health regeneration. So really not much innovation here, unfortunately. But all allies regenerate 720 boosted health over 4 turns. So he's a healer and a damage dealer. He doesn't do damage based or heal based off the damage he deals, but he's a heal over time hero, which can be pretty useful, especially in the Insanity Wars, where that heal can remove 10 insanity and that can trigger every turn. So I'd say that that'll be a good place for him, possibly on defense more than on attack. But yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of Wolfgang. I just feel like he's okay. Like, I'd put him in a more like an average grade for Wolfgang. Aside from the stats and everything else that's going on, he's pretty average. As far as the undispellable or the increased duration, for this guy, it probably works better just because of the boosted health. So you may get an extra turn on that health regeneration, which is nice. And also an extra turn on his damage reduction, which again, like I said, is just going to be super useful on defense. So that's all I've got to say about Wolfgang. Out of the two, I'd probably want Quenell over Wolfgang, but that's just because I'm a sucker for massive damage up front, as I think most of us are. And I'd rather have Bernadette over both of them, even though her stats are slightly lower. So Ferant. Man, Ferant was an old boy, man. Like, he was the boy at the time when he came out. He was the tanky boy, and he was, he was tanking it with the best of them. I remember people using him on defenses even right at the top, and that did not last for long because, unfortunately, they nerfed him. So let's see what they've done. Let's see if he can get back to his old glory days. So Ferant, of course, is a fire hero. He is a 4-star hero. He's also of the Wolf family, so he gets the same family bonus where there's a chance to make the cast buff undispellable. In terms of the stat boosts, we don't have as big of a stat boost for the 4 stars, but the power creep with the 4 stars is much lower, so his stats should be super relevant. Let's have a look with the max power. Yeah, he's 1,010 or just under 1,010 power, which is decent. And I can see the old damage reduction status element in there, or ether talent, so that's good. And you probably will take advantage of the second limit break. So we'll just leave that on. He gets the same passive, so chance to increase the duration of the cast status element, or status effect, sorry. I think for this guy, that's going to be really strong. So let's have a look at his special. It's called Fiery Revenge. It was Feral Revenge. So the caster and nearby allies counterattack with 120% of the damage received for 5 turns. Now, remember, that has an extra chance, 75% to add an extra turn to the counterattack, or 25% to add an extra 2 turns. So you can get up to 7 turns on that. And then the caster and nearby allies decrease 5% mana from the attacker on each counterattack for 5 turns. That's why he's such a strong defensive hero, because he actually cuts your mana every time you hit him for the following 5 turns. And again, that can get up to 7. The effect does get diminished for consecutive activations, but you only really need a single percentage mana cut for your hero not to be able to fire. So that's what made him super strong. It is a lower decrease now, so it was 10% on the other version. I think, if I'm totally honest, I'd go for this version just because he gets that higher mana decrease from the attacker on each counterattack. The only thing you're really losing out on is the damage reduction, but again, that only lasts for 6 turns right at the beginning of the battle. The Revive Ether talent, the Revive class is much better than the Druid, the fighter class. But yeah, so there are some things that are good about the costume, but then there is, that mana cut being an extra 5% is probably better. And the counterattacks almost, it's 115 compared to 120. So either way you look at it, he is still going to be an awesome defensive hero. I think now he will probably have some more clout in the raid tournaments, especially at the 4-star level. I don't think you're going to be throwing him on your defense in the wars anytime soon, in the 5-star wars, but certainly in terms of the 4-star group, he's pretty damn strong. And that is pretty much it. And that is everything that we've got to say about the brand new hero. So please do let me know your thoughts on Quenell Wolfgang and the costume for Ferant as well. Drop us a comment. Let me know what's going on. This is going to be my last video before I fly to Thailand. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning, so you may find there's a little bit of a gap. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to be able to record over there. But, just so you know where I am, if for a couple of days you don't get a response or anything like that, just know that I am trying to live at large a little bit. I need a freaking holiday. But anyways, let me know in the comments what you guys think of these heroes. Drop us a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are not subscribed already. Don't forget to share it with your mother, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now, guys.